and I hope you all are practicing your English very well. And of course, yes, I hope your practice is going well, and my practice is also going well. So some of the things that we need to understand over here, if we want to be fluent in English, then what we need to do? First of all, we need to think that why we are trying. Well, take a time, and when you will give your 110%, you will give your enough time to it. It will come in your life and you will become fluent in it, right? So everything that take a time to happen, you need to understand that if something is taking time to happen, it means you're going to get a great result out of it, right? So if you know, and this is also a one rule of our life, that if you have started any kind of things to do in your life and that is not happening, it's taking too much time, so we need to understand that this is the sign of God, that your work is taking time. It means it is becoming good, and you need to have a patience, and definitely you will get them in your life, because God always make you prepare to handle something before giving you, right? So if God is making you wait to get something, it means God is making you stronger, because when you will get and the God will give you something, you need to be strong enough to handle those things, right? So we are going to practice our English, and today we will talk about how we can start thinking in English. I know you have heard these things so many times by different people, that if you want to be fluent in English, you have to start thinking in English, right? But it is easier said than done. When it comes to do in a real life, things become so complicated and you don't understand how you would do, which things you would try to do to start thinking in English. I know it can be difficult for you, and it was difficult for me also. When I started thinking in English, I had to do a lot of things to just keep my mind on thinking something. So it was like, so first of all, how would you start your thinking in English? How you would start this process? First of all, you need to start with the simple thoughts. I know you have a lot of things to say, but you have to start with the simple things. Don't think big, right? Don't use complex sentences. Rather, you can go with the simple sentences. You can make simple and small sentences, right? Things like a child, how child work and how child think. When you will observe a child how they think, you will find out they make a very small sentences and they use it, right? If they have a lot of things to say, but what exactly a child do, they speak a very little sentences to express themselves, and that's how we can adapt these things from a child. We can start thinking in English with the small sentences and a simple sentences, right? If we will start simple, then things can be easy for us, right? So start thinking in English with the simple and a small sentences. Then, and the second thing that you need to do, to talk to yourself in English. I know this is also something which you have heard from the people so many times, that if you want to be fluent, if you want to be good at English, you have to start talking yourself in English. But this is true. I'm taking the guarantee of it, that if you will start talking to yourself in English, in English, things can be changed, right? And how you're going to change it, because when you will talk to yourself, first of all, you would not correct yourself if you would make a mistake, right? Because in the beginning, making a confidence is most important rather to finding out your mistakes, right? So if you're making a mistakes, it's absolutely okay, and I'm allowing you, and you need to allow yourself to make a mistake as much as you can, right? Because making a mistake is the sign that we are learning. And for those people who say that making a mistake is really not a good sign, it's, why we look for the perfection in life. Now you tell me, how many things around you are perfect? Like nothing. You would find nothing. Nothing is perfect. So a word like a perfection is doesn't exist, so we should not run after it, right? So start talking to yourself, right? And what topic you would talk to yourself on? This is the big question that, sometimes you don't understand what you should, what you need to talk. So what would you do at the time? You need to, you need to start talking to yourself that what exactly you do in a day, right? When you wake up in the morning, what and how did you start your day, what kind of things you did, what kind of activities you did, like what's your dream, or whatever things that you want to say, just speak to yourself, right? And the first thing, that if you are going to talk to yourself, and this is the most important things I would say, right? If you're talking to yourself, always be confident. You need to use affirmation. How would you say? You can say that, yes, my English is improving, I'm improving, I'm able to make sentences, and all these kind of things. Because when you will say these kind of word to yourself, your subconscious will adapt it. Your subconscious mind will gain it, and it will start believing on it, right? You need to fake it until you get it in your real life, right? So you have to say it, because affirmations really works in a life. Like I have done it in my life, and I have noticed that how effective it work in a life, right? So you need to talk to yourself. Whatever topic you want to speak on, just take a topic and start to yourself, right? And the third one is stop translating from Hindi. Like, I know whatever whatever your mother tongue is, but if you are translating from your mother language to your target language, it's really not gonna work. If you don't know the word, use the another simple word, right? So things can be happen like this. If you think that you have just started and you expecting yourself to use a big sentences, you expecting yourself to be fluent, and sometime when you not stand on your expectation,